Rocco Ritchie has been trying to make his way in the world independent of his famous parents, but he's had to deal with some health scares and ugly legal battles as he forges his own identity. Rocco Ritchie was born on August 11, 2000, but the hours leading up to that moment were far from easy. Earlier that day, his mother was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles as she was experiencing severe abdominal pain and abnormal bleeding. As it turned out, Madonna was dealing with a detached placenta, which in turn was cutting off her baby's oxygen. So, to save both Rocco and his mom, doctors had to perform an emergency C-section. Rocco's dad, Guy Ritchie, who was Madonna's boyfriend at the time, was there by her side for the entirety of the procedure. Though Rocco ended up being born 3 weeks early, he was still a happy and healthy baby, as he weighed in at 5 pounds, 9 ounces. His mom's spokeswoman, Liz Rosenberg, told the BBC, "Madonna is overjoyed. She is safe, as is little Rocco. Guy and Lourdes are by her side." When he was just 14 years old, Rocco Ritchie sparked some controversy when he uploaded to Instagram a graphic video of members of ISIS killing civilians. In the caption, he urged his followers to gain some perspective and recognize that there are unspeakable things happening in the world. As he put it bluntly, "I think if you're still being a to people, I would stop. We've got a little worse of a problem on our hands here, guys. We don't need more negative here." This post didn't exactly go over well, as a number of angry comments flooded Rocco's account. As one person put it, "A 14-year-old boy really shouldn't be watching and posting things like this. Very disturbing." Rocco deleted the video in the wake of the backlash, although his mom took to her own Instagram to stand by his message. As she put it, "I applaud my son's desire to express his outrage by posting footage of ISIS on Instagram. Humans are becoming numb to this violent imagery." In 2012, a 12-year-old Rocco Ritchie joined his pop star mom on her MDNA tour. A few years later, he was ready to hit the road with her again for 2015's Rebel Heart tour. However, this time things ended up getting cut a little short, as Rocco and Madonna reportedly began butting heads after just a few months into the tour. As an insider told Radar, "Em and Rocco were having bad shouting matches. She'd be crying and yelling at him." So, when the show reached London later that year, Rocco reportedly decided to leave and head to his father's house. As an associate of Guy Ritchie's told Page Six, Rocco spent most of the second half of 2015 on tour with his mother and got upset about not spending enough time with her. Even by her ruthless standards, Madonna has been particularly driven on the tour, and when Rocco did see her, he felt like she was trying to micromanage his life.
Mom's being mom.
After Rocco left the Rebel Heart tour at the end of 2015, he was ready to spend the holidays with his father in London. But his mom reportedly wasn't okay with this. According to Page Six, she requested that he head back to New York so they could be together for Christmas, but he wasn't exactly eager to oblige. This ended up being the beginning of a messy legal battle, as Madonna decided to take the matter to court. A judge ordered Rocco to go with his mom, but then his father's team fought the decision. As Guy Ritchie's lawyer Eric Buckley told the judge, he has expressed very clearly that he does not want to return to New York. Ultimately, Judge Deborah Kaplan advised Rocco's parents to reach an agreement. This whole ordeal was reportedly incredibly hard on Rocco. His court-appointed lawyer, Ellen Siegel, noticed signs of emotional strain, which she shared with the court in addition to her wishes for Rocco's future. As she explained, "It's been a very difficult time for him. We hope to put an end to this as soon as possible without exposing him to more litigation, press innuendo, any of that kind of thing." Madonna and Guy Ritchie ultimately reached a deal in September 2016 that allowed Rocco to continue to live in London. On September 28, 2016, Rocco Ritchie and a friend got in trouble while hanging out in the wealthy North London neighborhood of Primrose Hill. As a source told The Sun, residents called the police after they saw the two boys smoking or doing drugs in the area. Rocco was arrested for cannabis possession after the cops found traces of marijuana in his backpack and on his clothing.
Try not to kill all your brain cells.
Because this was a minor offense, Rocco ultimately didn't face any criminal charges. Instead, Camden Borough's youth offending team implemented a triage scheme, a process that aims to keep kids out of the criminal justice system. So though this arrest wouldn't earn him a criminal record, it would still be part of his permanent record. Madonna stood by Rocco throughout the whole incident. As she said in a statement, "I love my son very much. I will do whatever I can to give him the support that he needs. And I ask that you respect our privacy at this time." Rocco's pals, on the other hand, apparently weren't too rattled by the situation. As a source told The Mirror, "Everyone thinks the Rocco thing is hilarious. His friends have been joking about Free Rocco since the news came out. He's not a wild child, he's a normal teenager. There are people in his circle who are a lot more misbehaved than him." After Rocco Ritchie's arrest, some locals began speaking out on his behalf, as they claimed that he wasn't a bad kid. Instead, they were quick to place the blame on his friend group. As an anonymous neighbor of his told the Daily Mail in 2016, "He is a polite boy, but he hangs around with boys from an estate who are not so polite. He goes to a school nearby here for wealthy children who are maybe not as intellectual. I wouldn't want to get him in trouble." But the cannabis arrest wasn't the only drama in Rocco's life around this time. He was also reportedly caught sneaking into local bars when he was still under the legal drinking age. As his neighbor told the Daily Mail, "Around the time he was arrested, I used to see him in the local pub. I don't think they ever served him because they know who he is and he's 16. Some of the boys from the local estate, they are the ones who used to scale the walls to get into the pub." But all this chatter didn't exactly slow him down from hitting the pubs while underage. In 2017, The Sun shared photos of a 17-year-old Rocco hanging out in front of a London pub while drinking a pint. The following year, the Daily Mail released photos of him at another pub, while also noting there wasn't necessarily any reason to assume that he was drinking alcohol. On June 24, 2023, Madonna was hospitalized for a serious bacterial infection while rehearsing for the Celebration tour. It was so serious that her initial chances of survival were reportedly quite slim, so her family was contacted immediately. As a relative of hers told the Daily Mail, "For the past couple of days, no one really knew which direction this was going to turn, and her family was preparing for the worst. That's why it was kept a secret since Saturday. Everyone believed that we may lose her, and that has been the reality of the situation."
A lot of people, of course, just stunned by this.
When Madonna was still in the hospital, Rocco and his brother David Banda were spotted visiting their mother's apartment in New York City. They were the first of her 6 children to be seen out and about since news of her condition broke. They reportedly looked solemn as they made their way up to their mom's home. Fortunately, Madonna ultimately made a full recovery. A month after her hospitalization, she reflected on how much it meant to have her kids by her side when she wrote on Instagram, "As a mother, you can really get caught up in the needs of your children and the seemingly endless giving. But when the chips were down, my children really showed up for me. I saw a side to them I had never seen before. It made all the difference." Even though he's the son of 2 famous entertainers, Rocco Ritchie was determined to pave his own path without the label of Nepo baby hanging over him. So in 2018, he began creating art under the pseudonym of Red, and he actually managed to find some success. As he told ArtNet in 2021, "I'm proud of who I am and where I've come from, but I know people would have judged me aggressively in my early stages if I came out with my name. I wanted to develop technically before showing under my name." But it wasn't all smooth sailing, as Page 6 revealed Red's true identity in 2021, and the attention from the art world wasn't particularly favorable. The Guardian critic Jonathan Jones opined that Rocco's work simply wasn't ready for this level of attention or interest. As he put it, his paintings are clumsy adolescent efforts with no sign of originality or vigor. It therefore seems a shame that Red has been put into the public eye when he's just not, at this point, a real artist. And art writers Gabriela de la Puente and Zarina Muhammad added, "It's a shame when artists create work that looks like modern art instead of contemporary art." And the dramatic reveal, suspiciously successful kid in art world secretly has incredibly rich famous parents, isn't surprising or new, but it is. Despite the negative press, Rocco has remained devoted to his art. In 2024, his mom posted some snaps that she took at one of his shows on Instagram, while also declaring how proud she was.